Hey guys, so if you're watching the replay, give me #replay so I know you guys were here. And while you're watching, even if you're watching the replay, please comment, interact, let me know if this helps you at all. I have seriously spent all afternoon pumping myself up to share this, and the reason why is because it's so taboo. Like, I would rather sit here and talk to you all day long about cannabis than sit here and talk to you about money. But it's just been on my heart so much lately to share with you guys in a real way, because I've been reading this awesome book. So if you guys haven't read the Girl Wash Your Face book, definitely read that. I love it. It's inspired me to be more authentic. I see some people getting on here that know us from way back, a long time ago, that can attest to the story I'm going to tell you. But before I tell you guys the story, I do need to share with you the wonderful income disclaimer. I don't have like an actual thing because, it's me. But these are my opinions. These are not facts. There is no guaranteed income, okay? This is not a guaranteed income type thing, okay? This is what we have done over years of consistency. So it's not one, thing that immediately changed our situation. So that's what I'm going to try to explain to you guys. But I wanted to do the disclaimer. I need to do that. Hi guys, how are you? Yes, I definitely love your guys' engagement because I have psyched myself up for this. So when I tell people this, that, I get nervous about certain things, and going live, a lot of times I'm met with disbelief because this is how you guys see me and how you've seen me over the years. But I do, this is one of those topics that isn't tackled a whole bunch. But it's so relevant because I talk to people every single day that are in situations like I was in and that I grew up in. So with that out of the way, I want to tell you guys who I am, and then I'm going to share with you guys a little bit of my backstory, where I came from, and then I'm going to tell you guys who I am now, and I'm going to tell you guys at the end the one thing that I have used for 8 years or so now, to grow this business and to change, our lives. So, a little bit about me. If you don't know, my name is Tara Eveland. I am a wife. I am a Christian. I should have said that first. I'm a Christian. I am a wife. I am a mother. And I'm a real person. I always say, that shirt, I love Jesus, but I cuss a little. That is me. I actually have a potty mouth, but I'm a dog lover. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I do own a boutique. I sell women's clothing inspired by what I like, which is typically boho fashion. I do live sales where I sell my clothes, I try them on, and then I sell them to other women. Stacy, your jacket. Oh, is this the one you wanted? I thought you wanted this top. We'll get you this jacket after I'm done. It's so soft. I love it. So just like that, Stacy, she watched my live and she wants this jacket. So anyways, I do that. I source clothes and I sell them in live sales. In network marketing, I got into network marketing in 2010, and that's where I want to kind of start this story. I lived in Southern Illinois in 2010. And within the last year, our family moved out west, and we are now in Denver. So, all right, so let's start this with my childhood. I was born in a small town, Southern Illinois, not Chicago. It's way Southern Illinois. There are cornfields and potholes. Trying to think, if you want to go to the mall, you have to drive at least an hour, one way or another. Okay. Super, super, super tiny town, right? Oh, yay, Mindy. I love my dog. So anyways, super, super small town. And I was born with a cleft lip. So you can see the scar here. And I also had a cleft palate, which is like if you put your tongue on the top of your mouth, that is what I didn't have. So there was like a hole there and there was a hole here. So I kind of feel like, you know, the moment I was born, I have had to kind of adapt and, you know, do these things that, you know, maybe other people didn't have to do. So, you know, I had to get surgery so that I could eat and, you know, all kinds of different things. And to top it off, my parents didn't have a lot of money. So my parents were young, and, you know, being in the place that we live, not a lot of job opportunities. So I did grow up and I didn't have a lot of confidence when, you know, I went to school. I didn't have a lot of friends. I had one friend that lived across the street from me. And, you know, it just got harder as I grew up, right? So I remember doing, you know, getting back to school stuff and going to Kmart and, you know, just being so thankful and so happy to be going and getting new stuff. She's here. Lynn is here. She's here. So she can attest to this, right? You know, kids called me Elvis and weird. I mean, I was poor. I had these, you know, Kmart, matching sweatshirt and, you know, sweatpants. And, you know, as you got older back then, we didn't have the anti-bullying stuff they have now, you know, and it got bad. So I didn't have the confidence you guys see now. Hi, Stephanie. So when I was in, I think it was about third or fourth grade, jelly shoes, totally. I still like jelly shoes though. Our house we lived in, you guys, was so bad that it got, like they said, like, you can't live here, right? So I am still scared of the dark to this day because I would get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and there were slugs all over our bathroom and I would have to get my dad to come in and get the slugs out because I was terrified. It was literally like falling apart, like asbestos. I mean, it was bad. Like, we were poor. So anyways, we qualified for this Habitat for Humanity, which is where volunteers come and, basically it's like you pay, you know, what you can pay and you get a brand new house. You know, we were on welfare, we were on food stamps, like you name it, that was my life. Okay. But you know, I was happy. I made do. Now, I'm going to fast forward and skip a whole bunch of stuff, but I'm going to write about it on my blog. But I'm going to skip to 2010, when I had met my husband and we had our son, Jack. It was so crazy to me because I got hit with postpartum depression. If you know what postpartum depression is, I am so sorry. So sorry because I don't really have it in me, but if I did, I would not wish this on them. It is when you have a child that you even, you know, like us, we planned for, you know, he's named after my grandpa, like everything was perfect. And then we had him and for whatever reason, you know, my hormones threw me into this thing where I physically and mentally could not care for him. I could not be happy. And the more the days went on, I knew I was supposed to be happy and I just couldn't be happy, which made me even more depressed. And I would just sit there and I remember him laying in his bassinet, you know, just crying. And, you know, I would sit there and be staring out the window at the cornfield. And I would think, you know, like how freaking miserable I was. And that's really where this whole journey of contributing to my family kind of came in. We, at the time, we lived in a trailer. We lived in Southern Illinois. We literally lived in a cornfield. Like, it was a little spot carved out. We had a trailer, had 2 bedrooms, you know, and that's where we brought our son home to. And you know, I was happy. We didn't need a lot of money. So, you know, we were content. And I was saved at this point, you know, and had met a godly man. And it was just, you know, a good time in my life. But because of that postpartum depression, I went to my midwife and I was talking to her. And she kind of put it in my head that I kind of needed my own thing. I needed a thing, right? Because I had just become used to being Lillian's mom. And then I had become used to being, Jack's mom. And then I was hit with, oh my God, like I have these awesome kids and this awesome life and, I'm saved and everything's awesome, but I'm so depressed, like so depressed. All I wanted to do was sleep and I didn't want to be that way. So I got a camera. Sounds silly. I didn't really mean for that to be my thing, but what happened is I got a camera to start taking pictures of my kids. Now, prior I had worked in managing studios for different corporations in the photography world, so I knew I loved it. Got a camera. Long story short, about the same time I got a camera, I had a friend come to me and tell me about Cincy. So she introduced my first direct sales network marketing thing to me. I loved it. I bought the little scents from her, and at the time, the scents weren't in Walmart. They weren't, on Amazon. Like, this is a new thing. Like, people were still learning about it. And we're like, oh, you don't have to use candles and, catch your freaking hair on fire. Like, that's awesome. So I, signed up and I freaking loved it. And it was something I could do that it's crazy because it opened me up to meeting new people, right? And it got me out of the house, and I'll say it got me away from my kids and that responsibility there. And I was, going to, taking all this stuff into people's houses. It's kind of silly if you think about it. I would turn on, the warmer, let all the wax melt, and then I'd stick my finger in it and say, if it spills, it's not even hot. And do these things, and it was fun. But it was a lot of work. It was a lot of inventory. It was hauling it around. It was these parties. And at the time, marketing online wasn't really a huge thing. Videos was still kind of, whatever, and you just put them on YouTube. So I kept going, continue marketing this photo business. I started my own photo business, about that time, 2010, and I just soaked up everything I possibly could, about Photoshop and just everything in the world like a sponge. Love it. Love learning new things. So, hi Megan. And kind of fast forward, that, whole experience there, really opened me to new friends in the area, and I loved it. I absolutely loved Cincy, but I just got busy with life. For whatever reason, I stopped doing, that company focused on photography. So fast forward to 2015, and Periscope came out. So my husband and I had moved into a little bit of a bigger house. But again, it was in Southern Illinois, and the rent there is insanely cheap. I think for the whole house, it was like $400. I think it started out like $425 a month. And then I think after like a couple years, he moved it to like $475, which is insane compared to Colorado prices. But we were living there, and, we would live paycheck to paycheck, like literally. And when I say paycheck to paycheck, I mean like robbing Peter to pay Paul. Like, no, don't shut my electricity off because I can pay you on Friday, or I'm going to try to get this appointment with these people that might help me because we actually are on the poverty line. And the sad thing about it is at no time during, this time that we were on the poverty line, did we feel like we were poor, right? Like, yes, we went to the food pantry. We were on food stamps. That sucks. My kids had to do, shop with a cop, and that is humbling. But at the end of the day, you always do what you have to do for your kids. And, if you didn't catch the beginning of the live, that's how I grew up. And just really thankful for what we had. So at no time do we ever feel like we were poor or ever wish to, be rich or anything. Okay. But what I did desire was more for my kids, because my husband, he went to a school for a tech degree. He has a degree in fiber optics. In Illinois, he could only ever be a cable guy. He didn't have the opportunities that he has now. So he would work from sun up to sundown for someone else that, didn't respect him half the time. And working for like $10, $11 an hour, trying to support, an entire family. So that stress was on me. I felt that stress, and I knew I didn't want my kids to grow up in that same way that I shared with you in the beginning of this video, the same way I did. So I just had that same desire that I know so many other women have. Like, you just need your thing, you want more, and then you see all these people out here like, oh, it's so easy, just join this and this is done for you. It's not easy. It's not easy. Do not let anyone tell you that. What they should be saying is the product is so good that, it's not extremely difficult if you apply effort. Okay. But 2015 came along. And, remember this whole time, in these 5 years, I had dabbled, network marketing in the Cincy. I had actually advanced in ranks very high, earning all kinds of awards. But I really desired to do my own business. So that's what I was doing, the photography. And through those 5 years, I really started to get into the video aspect. Okay. So this is the key here. And what I did was I would take my camera that I got from my photography business, I would turn it into video mode. And then during people's sessions where I'm taking their, maternity pictures or whatever, I would have them posing and I would turn it into video mode, and I would take these little 20, 30-second clips throughout the whole day. So if it's a wedding, I'm having all these clips through the whole day. And remember, this is like 2012, like people weren't doing this yet. This wasn't like the thing. So I just, I would do this, and then I self-taught myself how to edit these little videos and then add music to them and then add my branding to them. And then what I did was I took all these gorgeous pictures I would create for them, and during their, appointment, they would come to look at their pictures at my studio. I would say, surprise, I made this video for you. Now, because it invokes emotion, it's a memory, okay, of a maternity session or a newborn session or a wedding, and it's being played in video, and it's being set to music, and it's invoking emotions in real life. It was a huge, huge hit. I mean, guys, the videos would take me from selling like $500 picture packages to like $2,500 awesome packages, okay, that seriously elevated my business. So something clicked in my head, and I was like, oh gosh, like people really like video, okay? So enter 2015, Periscope was suggested to me on my Apple device as like a trending app. I downloaded it. First time I clicked on it, I was like, what is this? And I open it, and it's this guy preaching, and it's really awesome. But what's super cool was that he was on a rooftop in like Atlanta, Georgia, before his sermon at his church, and he was sharing with like hundreds of people. And I was like, literally, you guys, like my mind freaking blown. And it was real time. Like there's a delay right here on Facebook, but Periscope was real time. And then I saw it. I saw the thing that literally changed my entire life. I saw somebody selling LuLaRoe on a live video stream in 2015. Boom. Like it clicked in my head, and I was like, Tara, this is it. You love clothes. You love to talk. You love videos. You love people. Freaking A. But the problem was the money. Honestly, the money. And praise God it was the money. Praise God, because I waited on this wait list for like, something insane, like 3 months to give these people, $5,000 that I didn't even have. And they were encouraging me to open up these credit cards and all these things, right? And I was going to do it. Oh my God, I was going to do it. I can't believe I was going to do it. But I saw the potential, and I saw there was only, maybe like a couple people doing it on Periscope, and I was like, oh shit, like this is gonna happen. This is gonna be so awesome. So in this time, I skipped an important step. When Periscope first started coming out, the first couple months, nobody was selling anything on there. I went on there and was doing what everyone else was, and that is just sharing. And what I would share is things that interest me. So a lot of stuff was about breastfeeding, and a weight loss journey. And what started to happen was by using these hashtags, and then it would blast on Twitter. These people were coming into this live video stream in 2015 and watching me, a poor girl in Southern Illinois, talking about breastfeeding and things that interest me and asking me questions that I was able to answer. And then they would email me and say, thank you for sharing that, because you told me that, I didn't quit breastfeeding. Because you told me that, when my baby comes, I'm going to try breastfeeding. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, that is awesome. Like, nobody's, ever said that to me, right? Like, that's awesome. Like, I can share my stuff. So then a couple months later, I saw the LuLaRoe gal. So I waited on this wait list to join LuLaRoe, and we were praying, that God would provide the thousands of dollars to join LuLaRoe, right? I made business plans. I asked my family. I asked my brother for the money, and I had a plan. And I was like, this is how it's going to go. This is how many I'm going to sell. This is how I'm going to reinvest. And, I had a following that had started to build from doing these videos, from doing my photography business. And again, the keyword's videos, okay? So this 3 months comes and God never gives us the money. And I'm like, what's going on? Because I felt the calling to do more. And, you showed me this, and I know this is what you want me to do. Like, I know it is. So what is going on? Like, where is the money? And that's when I don't know, something inside of me just was like, Tara, you could sell these clothes, but why don't you look around and see if there's other clothes to sell, right? And so I did. And that is whenever I found one little video online from one person talking about Agnes and Dora. So long story short, October 2016, I found Agnes and Dora, and I found, again, one person sharing stuff. She had just started her Periscope. She had just opened her boxes on Periscope, and I was like, oh gosh, like, I should learn about this. I couldn't find any information online. Nothing really, nothing. So I reached out to her, and she told me, hey, this is a company that, it's like the niece of LuLaRoe, same concept, but, different clothes. They're fitted and, more whatever. So it aligned with my style more. And the fact that they were just starting, the fact that Periscope was just starting. So all these things kind of lined up, and, it was $2,500, and they would send you, boxes of clothes that, was their brand name. And basically I was, gonna have to build a following. So a following for, myself selling these clothes, and a following for the brand, because there was nothing online. So it was a risk. And I remember making this paper, and it had LuLaRoe, Agnes and Dora, and it had pros, cons. And I sat there and I just analyzed it. I talked it with my husband. We prayed about it. And I don't know what finally made us pull the trigger on it, but we did end up opening our boutique in the very end of 2016. Okay. And I'll never forget, making that payment. You still called in back then to pay for it. There was only like a couple hundred girls selling this brand of clothing. So I called in and I was paying for it, and I was like literally shaking because it was $2,500 that, we didn't have. We, took this and scrimped together and saved and saved and saved, and we paid cash. We didn't put it on a credit card. We didn't start with that kind of debt. So we paid cash. We got these boxes, and I went on Periscope and I said, hey, I'm doing this. Like, you probably heard of LuLaRoe. This is what A&D is. And I started sharing about it. When my boxes came, the day I got my boxes, I set up my camera on my tripod. I pressed play on Periscope and I went live opening the boxes. So everything that was in those boxes that I got to start with that brand of clothing, I opened right then on a live video. And something happened. I knew when I opened those boxes and I saw how many people watched it, and not how many people watched it live, because that never matters. How many people watched the replay? How many people, then went back and watched my other videos, and then they related to me, and then they looked at me on YouTube and saw, well, this lady's been making videos for the last, 5 years. And just be putting out there the real me, who I am, where I'm at in my life, and where I want to be in my life, okay? And by opening those boxes and sharing that with people, it really created that sense of inclusion, okay? And I would say that right there is what really started and was the stepping stone for where we are today. Now, I did go on a couple months of that company. We were just starting out. So I put out a lot of info on that brand and on how to sell it and, what it was about. It was good clothing and it had a good message. Now, I did really good in that company. I'll never forget the first sale we did it on Periscope Live. And I had no idea what I was doing, and it was just leggings, okay? And I'll never, ever forget that sale because, I got done and I looked around and I don't remember the exact number, but my husband's over there calculating, and he's just like calculating, and every time, every time he would hit the equal button, I would see his face change again. And I'm like, well, there's a lot of leggings here, but anyways, it comes out to almost $800 in leggings. And I'm like, we look at each other in this, $400 rental a month, and we had just invested all of our money we possibly had into this, and we didn't have an option for it not to work. Okay. That was never an option. So I went on there and I opened my life and who I am, okay, on the internet in a live video like I'm doing right now. People loved it. And you have to remember, live sales just started then. Just started. People were still I don't know how to do this. What is this? What are you doing? Super confused. And you wouldn't believe the stuff that happens on live videos selling clothes. You wouldn't believe it unless you do it. But again, I knew I didn't have an option. I didn't have another option. It had to work. So that first sale, I told you, $700-800 in leggings, and I cried. I just cried. I just sat down and cried. But the very next day, I broke the windshield out the back of my car. Sorry, guys. I'm going to move over here. The windshield broke out the back of my car. We had to use dang near all that money to fix our windshield. So right out the gate, we had this huge setback. But again, we literally just kept going. I took what I could, reinvested it. There was times whenever I was starting out that I didn't know how to reinvest the money properly. So I would sit and have, just a little bit of inventory to sell. But I would just get creative. Okay. I knew, that I could sell it. It was good stuff. I believed in it. And I would get creative. I would make outfits. I would do, shop your size. And even though I already showed everything, it was shown in a creative, different way. So by using live videos, and then making them on there, I remember your windshield broke. Yes, it was literally the day after the very first sale. And something else happened. It's like this really long story, but basically I owed PayPal money, like $300, because I shipped this iPhone and I didn't put tracking on it, and this guy screwed me. So 300 of that went to PayPal, and like 300 of it went to like the windshield, or 200, something crazy. And I was just like, this is like real life, okay? But again, like we just kept going. I just got on there and I was like, I have this stuff. I had to buy it first. And now I'm going to show other women why they need to buy it from me. Right. And I loved it. I freaking loved it. So I am going to tell you guys, I have notes here. It built massive organic network. Okay. And when I say it built massive organic network, I mean the videos, okay? Not necessarily the selling the clothes, okay? Because I have since, in September of last year, I left that brand and I went out on my own, and sell my own clothing. So, when I say massive organic network, what I mean is I didn't buy people. I never bought leads. I found these people that followed me on Periscope. I think last time I checked, 5 or 7 something thousand people following me on Periscope because of these hashtags and the videos that I would make. So some of them, I would say 80% of the videos I would make were not selling clothes. And when I was making the videos that weren't selling clothes, I never sold clothes. So I would sit there making videos, sharing with other girls how to do live sales, because they didn't know even about it. Totally lost my train of focus. Totally just wiped right on out of there. That's why I don't read comments. But I would have, mannequins behind me dressed really nicely, gorgeous clothes. And people would always say, I want to buy this shirt. And then I would say, we're just talking now. I'm just sharing about, my weight loss journey, or I'm sharing about breastfeeding, top 3 questions, or, I'm sharing about church, whatever it was, that's what I was doing. Okay. So I wasn't always about selling. But what happened was, whenever I would go on to sell, and whenever I would show them a new shirt and I would say, I just ordered this, I just bought this, I just got this in, and I love it. It's totally trendy. It's awesome. It's flattering. And then I put it on and show them, it was a product that did what I said, and they would want it. They would come whenever I would sell it live and buy it from me. Okay. So, it really worked for me. And the reason it worked is because the videos, and I built the network based on what I loved. And another thing it did, is it really weeded out the people that didn't like me. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you guys about. One of the big things here, I have some tips. If you haven't realized, the key to going from the poverty and the food stamps and all of this to 6-figure, it's crazy to me. But the key has been video, okay? And that is what I try to teach, and I try to teach other women, and I try to tell you why it works, okay? I didn't just join some, I didn't just use some oil and join some company in December and, have this following and this boutique and everything. I have built it using video and, modern technology and modern marketing for, 8 years now. So that is why I'm just passionate about sharing with others how to do that, because it can still be done. It can still be done. And I teach people how to do it all the time. You just have to get over certain things, certain mental things that we put in there for ourselves. Okay. So, some of these tips that I have for videos, okay, sorry. I was going to tell you guys why it's videos. So let's do that real quick and then I'll get into the tips. Why videos? So, the emotion. So I told you guys how I started out doing it with my photography clients, and just the emotion of, professional photos cut in with videos that they didn't know was happening during their session, put to music with maybe like a quote. That emotion, is like, that's what we all want. Like, we want that. And like, what parent is going to watch a video of their new precious little baby and, they can afford the luxury of high-end professional photography already. So they're not going to pass up a video, and they didn't, because the emotion that is, connected to that imagery and the music. And video is just, it's the only way in modern society that, we can constantly be face to face with others that are similar minded. Okay. Hey guys, how are you? So, attention span, the average attention span, I mean, you only have to give a toddler or a 6-year-old an iPad with different apps and sit there for 10 minutes. And this will prove my point of our attention span these days is about 0. Okay. So the video, it holds attention longer because it's real. You never know what's going to happen. I have had the craziest stuff happen. But you roll with it. I think I have maybe deleted just a couple videos. Okay. And your personality shows. Okay. And my personal favorite, you get to weed out who is your tribe, who has your vibe, and who absolutely hates you. Okay. You're going to find out if you do live video and you use live video for marketing, you will find out who doesn't like you. There will be people that make it their mission to tell you. They'll make it their mission to tell other people all sorts of awful things about you. But the key is to just accept it, to actually love it. Okay. Because they'll tell you you can't do it. I had people tell me, I couldn't do my own boutique and do network marketing. Like, literally told me that and like laughed at me. Right. That gal later left the same company to do her own boutique, and she's in network marketing. So I don't know. But they will tell you this. Okay. And, use it for fuel. I've used it for fuel. Okay. So you will have trolls. You will have people that do that to you because it's the nature of the modern marketing. It's great, but you will find out who doesn't like you. Just go with it. Okay. Use it for your fuel. Because it's going to happen, guys. It's going to happen. So number one, I actually had to just show up, to just do it. So I talked a little bit about Girl Wash Your Face, the book, the movement, I should say, at the beginning of the video. And my favorite chapter in that whole book, the one that I first listened to when I first sat down in front of my fireplace, I pressed play, listened to her intro, listened to chapter 2. And the lie is, I'll do it later. I'll do it tomorrow. And it really spoke to me because she talks about how often we cancel on ourselves, or we break promises to ourselves. Hi, Chloe. Aunt Tara loves you. And that's really what the chapter 2 is about, is, breaking promises to ourselves, putting things off till tomorrow. And so like this video right here, I waited all day to do it. I kept putting it off, and I should have just came and did it, but it was scary to me. I had to take several deep breaths. I had to say, people want to hear this. And I had to pray. I had to pray, and get my mind right, because it's really important to me that you guys know that the reason I am sharing these things with you is because I want this for you. Okay. I am of the mindset there is enough for everyone. There's enough. Okay. And I just want you guys to see that you don't have to be born a certain way. You don't have to live your life a certain way. And every day, we wake up and we get to make these choices and literally like write this story for ourselves. And it's something I learned in my weight loss journey is consistency and one day at a time, like literally one day at a time. Because if I look too far ahead in that journey, if I looked at, tomorrow's meals, I would get discouraged. I was 248 pounds and, I've lost almost 100 pounds since 2015 with no, magic wraps or anything like that. Okay. Good old fashioned and mindset, like learning these things that I now teach other people. I don't have a coaching business, anything like that. I love pizza and carbs. I don't do all that. But the same principle applies to business. Okay. So consistency, planning, learning, constantly learning, and that desire to learn. If you don't have a desire to learn and a desire to want these more for yourself, then you're not going to get it. Self-development, that is something that I never did until 2015, and it has literally changed everything. And then just living and learning the lessons. Okay, 8 years in network marketing, I have learned some of the hardest, most costly lessons of my life. And I mean costly like friendships, like real life friendships. I've done shitty things. I have done all the things that I thought would somehow benefit myself in some way. And I learned from those and moved on. And that's why in the last couple of years, I really started seeing so much success in my network, because these lessons that I got myself into and that I had to learn. And then after I learned the lesson, I came live on video and shared the lesson with others. And I built this tribe of women that were like, me too. Like, I freaking get it. Like, wow, like, yes, finally someone's saying it. And the more messages of support and encouragement that I get from people, the more I know in my heart that I'm where I'm supposed to be. And I would have told you, I would have been the first to tell you, oh, there's bees. That's not what I want to tell you. But there is bees. Okay. Anyways, guys, I would have been the first one to tell you, 10 years ago that half of the stuff I'm saying is BS, right? I'd be like, no. Like the only way, you can go from food stamps and, shopping with a cop to, claiming over six figures on your income taxes. Now, we don't bring home six figures, mind you, okay? So we earned six figures, but once you deduct everything we all know, it's a lot, right? So my point though is that I'm writing the story, and I had to learn that, and I've learned it the hard way, and now I like sharing those lessons that I've learned. Another thing, sorry, I threw my notebook over here because I don't like bees. I'm allergic to them, and they sting. I don't think anyone likes bees. Hi guys. Put a huge smile on her face. Hi Chloe. Oh, Aunt Tara's gonna come see you soon. I'm so excited. Okay, so guys, today, for instance, I didn't want to do this live. I made all these notes, and then I made all these excuses. The kids are hungry. I have to, have to do this, and I really need to do this. I really need to do this. And I knew I had it. I felt it. I wanted to do this live. And then my message box dinged. and it was a good friend of mine. She actually is on this live now. And, you know, I never met her in real life. Matter of fact, I just met her through our CBD businesses. But she's so encouraging, and she messaged me, and she asked me something along the lines of, you know, I should sell my trainings. My trainings I do in our team page, you know, and she encouraged me and said, you know, that she would buy them. She loved it. She was going through some of my old videos. She loved it. And I've heard that message before. And, you know, the fact still remains that I'm just not really interested in, charging people to listen to this story, because I want to empower you guys to whatever situation you're in right now. Like, you don't have to stay there. You're writing the story. Okay. Now, like I said, if you knew me back then, if you knew, how we went from, I'll share something with you. One of the things is this is so embarrassing. We had this really big open kitchen in this house, and it, you know, had tons of cabinet space, but it didn't have anywhere to prepare your food, to, like, you know, chop up your food or anything like that. So we went and we bought this like $20 like used dresser. And we flipped it around the kitchen so the drawers face the sink and the outside face like you knew it was a dresser. There was no hiding it. And we used that for years in this house for our island. And I'll never forget, you know, when we moved out west and we moved into a 10 million times nicer place, we walked in and just literally being in awe of the island. And we said, and the kids said, oh, well, we have a real island. Like, you know, we're like, we made it. Like, we're, you know, like, we really did it. Like, we did it. Good job, Mom. And I'm like, you know, this island, it's just so funny to me, because we had this dilapidated dresser, you know, and this like just 1950s house. And, you know, at the time we were so thankful for it. We were thankful for the space and to get out of the trailer, and every step of the way that we've been blessed to go has been, you know, like most people, just a little bit improvement. But when we went from Illinois out west, and my husband, remember I said back in Illinois, he could only use his degree to be a cable guy. Out west, he can use that fiber optics degree, and he has worked for Google. He completed a job in Utah. It took about 8 months. He completed it for Google, and then he was offered a permanent job at the place we had a goal the last, 8 years of our marriage to get to, and that is Colorado. And took a permanent job out here, and we got out here and absolutely freaking love it. And that's kind of where we are right now. But back to the video and where I started with Agnes and Dora, as far as selling things on live video. It was the first time in my life that I realized it was okay to succeed. The CEO of that company, about 4 months after I joined, personally invited me to her first ever leadership convention. Now, I wasn't a top seller. I sold a lot because I was one of the first to do the live video. And I might note was the very first VIP live seller on Periscope out of any clothing company, I believe. Thank you. No, but it's just silly to me because, Periscope is kind of like, it's kind of had its moment. And then Facebook was like, oh, we'll do live videos here. And people kind of gravitated back to Facebook. But the thing about the videos is Facebook and social media are giving priority to them. So I saw this, foreseen this almost 10 years ago, when I noticed the power of the video on my photography clients, and I noticed the value it gave to them, and it gave to me financially too. So let's see here. Trying to see. I don't want to make this too long, you guys. I know so many watch replays. So basically, guys, though, the thing is, and the reason why it's so important to me to share that, it's not the brand you sell. Hi, guys. Hi, Kylie. It's not the brand you sell, because I left that brand. I left Agnes and Dora in September. And you guys, again, people told me I was freaking insane, right? And I mean, I guess it was a little bit, because I was making good bonus checks. Like, we're talking a couple $1,000s a month in inventory that then I could turn around and sell at retail. And, it was good money. But the key word there was inventory, right? I was selling someone else's dream. I was selling something that, I could potentially, get elsewhere that, I could make a dream behind, right? So that's what I wanted to do. And it was literally like the scariest thing I've ever done in my life. I somehow met this lady that's a transition coach, which I didn't even know was a thing. And she got a hold of me, and she offered me like this free session. And I got on there with her and talked because, it's just a lot of talking, really. And she basically said to me, it sounds like you are excited. It sounds like you know exactly what you're going to do, how to do it. I'm a planner. Before I left, I had, I had a plan. I knew what I was going to do. But the idea of going back to how poor I was, to going back to, hauling my kids to the food pantry, and hoping that they had, the good meat left, like, terrified me. Absolutely terrified me, because I had, gotten so far that we were in a position to volunteer at the food pantry and to help other people, whether that is, literally like handing out the food, or my favorite thing, which is sharing my story with other people, saying, look, like, I was in that line, like, I understand, you can talk to me. And that's another thing, is the listening. I am obsessed with hearing other people's stories. If you have a story, I listen, I love it. And a lot of times, like yesterday, my neighbor was talking to me about some places he knew in Southern Illinois. And anyways, I just started asking him like all of these personal questions, which later I was like, yeah, it's probably not cool to do that. But I wanted to know his story. And then I wanted to know his thoughts on certain things, and, why. And just for curious minds, he is a coal miner his entire life, an engineer in the coal mines, and he knows that area that I lived in because one of the only good jobs around there is the coal mine. So I was asking him, because he drives a smart car, and the irony of that, and I just started talking to him. So just, listening and genuinely wanting to get to know people. That is how you build a network. And just keep going. So same thing I used to lose 90 pounds. There were days where, no lie, I would get PMS and I would go and buy a box of Krispy Kreme and I would eat all of them, all 6 of them. And then I would feel disgusting. But the next day I would go and, whatever it was I had to do, CrossFit, or, if I was going to walk, like I would go and do it, because every day I would start a new day. And one of my good friends back home actually got me a little sign that says a new day. And that's just so important for me to teach my kids that and to share with you guys. When you see my, nice house, nice car, nice clothes, I have the availability to homeschool, and I share with you all these things, it's not to brag. It is to tell you that this is where I am, but my real desire is to share with you where I came from, because I wasn't born with a silver spoon. I wasn't born with any spoon in my mouth. If you watched the beginning of my video, you learned that I had to have surgery to even be able to eat as a baby. So if I can come from the place I did, and I didn't even share the whole story with you guys, but if I can come from that place and figure out a way to have these things, you can too. So I want to share with you guys, my personal thing was videos. And now, as you guys know, videos are huge. Okay. So this is how I got here. Now, how to do it is what I teach my team. Okay. So, you know, I sell CBD oil. It is network marketing. I don't carry an inventory. I literally come and share with people just like this on live video about my scoliosis, my journey, etc., my son's ADHD, everything this product has done for me. And then I tell people, you should try it too. Okay. I answer questions. I write blog posts. And then the company that I refer people to pays me for the referrals, which is awesome. And because I spent all these years building up this network, and people know I'm real and authentic and honest, people trust me. People try it. They love it. They pay the $20. They become an affiliate. They take my advice. They take my business plan and they duplicate it. And then I'm getting stories of successes just like mine. And it's what keeps me going. So I hope that helped you guys somewhat. I'm super surprised I didn't cry. I usually cry when I tell this story. But your messages fuel me. I appreciate them. I saw several texts come through when I was live. I will get back to those. But final words, you guys, I say embrace who you are, not what society wants you to be. You know, don't just do something because you see me doing it. Don't do videos because someone tells you to. Okay? Do what you are passionate about and be real and share it. Somebody needs you to share your story. Okay? So somebody needs it. So I hope you guys will do that. I hope this has encouraged you in some way to do that. And, you know, I will go in more depth on my blog, and that is taraeveland.com. But I hope to hear from you guys, and I hope to share in your success. I would love for you to try the oil, to, you know, try the videos, try what I'm talking about, see if it works for you, and consistently, okay, one day at a time. So that's good. Hey guys, hey, I see a bunch of people hopping on, so I'm gonna hop off here, watch the replay, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great day.